Seo-Yeon makes the trek to her family house when a local strawberry farmer gives her a lift. She lost her phone, so she borrows his to call her mum, who is at the hospital, to alert her of her arrival, but there is no answer. The farmer drops her home and even offers to let her use his phone for the day, but she rejects the offer, as there is probably a landline inside the house. She speculates that she left it on the train during her journey. Sung-ho admires the house before setting off. The young lady proceeds into the house to find letters piled at the front door. She tidies up the place since no one has stayed there in some time. Seo-Yeon looks for the house landline and calls her number, hoping someone has found the phone. A man picks up and confirms to have the phone, but a voice in the background suggests they ask for money, so he asks for reward money before handing it up. She tries calling back, but it goes straight to voicemail. Seo-Yeon later uses a Find My Device tool to look for it. When the landline rings again, she quickly rushes to pick, hoping the phone kidnappers have had a change of heart. However, a woman is on the other side of the phone frantically talking to someone called Sun-hee about being locked inside the house by her mother. When Seo-Yeon alerts her that it's the wrong number, the woman cuts the call. She later goes for a consultation at the hospital regarding her mom's health, where it's revealed that she has a brain tumor, and the operation to remove it is quite costly. She joins her mother, who has already signed up to her fate, so she has prepared the monthly life insurance payments for her daughter. Seo-Yeon gets angry when her mother wants to be buried next to her deceased father because the young lady doesn't feel like she deserves it. The thought of it makes her storm out of the hospital to her father's grave to pay her respects. She comes home to meet the phone ringing and rushes to it to find the same woman calling Sun-hee to come help, as a woman whom she refers to as mother is trying to kill her. The unknown caller gives her address before angrily hanging up, but Seo-Yeon realizes that it's the same as the one she's currently staying at. She finds it odd but thinks nothing of it and dozes off on the couch. Later that evening, the falling of the picture frame wakes her up. The young lady tries to anchor it back, but discovers a hidden passage behind the wall. She makes her way down, where she finds a basement with a teddy bear sitting on a chair and a box in the corner with some shaman memorabilia and a diary. The daily log as an entry on the 27th of August, 1999, detailing some sort of abuse to do with fire. She carries on flicking through, and a picture of a young lady falls out. The following day, she sends it to Sung-ho to get more information on her. He identifies her as Young-suk and alerts her that the lady's mother was a shaman, which explains the other things in the box. They were the previous owners of the house. The strawberry farmer changes the topic and evades Seo-Yeon's questions, claiming he doesn't remember since it was in the 90s. She takes the hint and leaves, but realizes that the picture was taken on November 26, 1999. On her way home, she spots Sun-hee's store and makes a mental note of it. Back home, she stands at the opening of the basement when an incoming call startles her. When she picks up, the lady on the other side begs for help from Sun-hee. She claims that her mother is trying to set her on fire. She listens horrified as the girl gets dragged away into a basement. Things switch, showing the mother preparing to burn the girl. Seo-Yeon ends the call and begins closing her curtains. Simultaneously, the girl fights her mother as she tries to escape, causing them to drop the torch. The smoke and fire from their altercation starts to appear before Seo-Yeon. The next day, she receives a call again from the girl who berates her for not coming to her aid the previous night. Seo-Yeon is more interested to confirm if her address is the one she disclosed. She figures the girl on the line is Young-suk. Seo-Yeon explains that she has a picture of her which was taken on the 26th of November. Young-suk is confused because the date is 18th November 1999. Things get even stranger when Seo-Yeon reads a part from Young-suk's diary that she wrote the previous day. Young-suk suspects that she is being watched, but Seo-Yeon alerts her that they might be living in the same house. Just as Young-suk hangs up, she quickly checks significant events which happened on 18th of November 1999 and informs her of a plane that will crash that night. That evening, she has dinner but is reluctant to eat the food whilst watching the TV. Her mother prompts her to eat faster. She threatens to send Young-suk back to the psychiatric ward, where she will have the same fate as her biological mother. She begins to eat the food like a wild animal, so the lady grabs her by the hair, stating her behavior is a result of bad feng shui. Meanwhile, the news reports on the aircraft crashing, which shocks Young-suk. The following day, she calls Seo-Yeon, wanting to know how she knew the crash would happen. They live in the same house but are years apart from each other. The phone bridges time and space, allowing them to talk in real time. The two girls formally introduce themselves before Seo-Yeon comments on Young-suk's love for a particular band based on the pictures in the diary. She begins to play songs from that band's later music catalog. She also informs her about smartphones, among other things from the future. Things start to get deep when they talk about their issues. Young-suk reveals that her mother believes she's cursed with bad fortune along with brutal and atrocious fate, so she locks her up in the house, blocking all interaction with other people. She reveals that her real mother is dead, and the woman whom she refers to as her mother is actually her auntie. This prompts Seo-Yeon to disclose that she lost her dad when she was younger. It was caused by a fire because her mother forgot to turn the gas off. Young-suk ends the call when she hears her auntie approaching the room. The following day, the shaman removes the talismans and packs all the exorcism-related things in a box. Later on, a realtor brings a younger Seo-Yeon and her parents to the house for their first viewing. The auntie reluctantly introduces them to Young-suk. She steps out and Seo-Yeon gets frightened by her appearance. Young-suk recognizes the name and calls future Seo-Yeon to allow her to listen to her father's voice, which gets her emotional. With a sinister smile, Young-suk proposes her idea to bring her dad back to life. On the day of her dad's death, Young-suk sneaks out of the house and makes her way to Seo-Yeon's place, where her mother leaves the house with the food on fire and her husband sleeping. Young-suk grabs the hidden house key and unlocks the door. Simultaneously, Seo-Yeon's phone is suddenly with her, and her scar from the fire incident starts to disappear as the future changes before her eyes. She comes out of her room to the house looking completely different. She makes her way to the garden where she sees that her mother is not sick and her dad stands before her alive. With tears in her eyes, she hugs him. Seo-Yeon later calls and thanks Young-suk for saving her dad, but Young-suk is surprised and intrigued that it worked. Over the coming days, Seo-Yeon enjoys her time with her parents and also grows her bond with her friend from the past. She plays future songs by her favorite band on the phone for her to record on cassette tapes. One day, Young-suk calls Seo-Yeon, but she's happy enjoying her dad's company, so she pleads to Young-suk to allow her to finish what she's doing, and she'll return the call. A couple more days pass, and Young-suk calls again, but there is no answer, so she gets frustrated and slams the phone down before walking away while it still rings. Some gummy bears with only their heads eaten litter the table. Meanwhile, Seo-Yeon rushes inside her room when she hears the phone ringing and answers, but Young-suk starts to show a different side of herself when she starts acting unhinged on the phone. Shortly after, screaming can be heard before the auntie picks the phone and warns Seo-Yeon never to talk to her niece. She takes her to the basement and begins to perform an exorcism on her. She sees disturbing visions of Young-suk, as does Seo-Yeon, which wakes her up from her sleep. She begins to do research and finds out that the auntie ended up killing Young-suk. The disturbed young lady calls her friend from the future and is surprised that she picked up so fast this time. Seo-Yeon warns Young-suk of her death in the house, which will happen that night. During that interim, the auntie picks up a dagger from the fish tank and enters Young-suk's room. She proceeds to stab her multiple times, but killer auntie soon realizes that there is no blood on the dagger. She removes the covers to reveal a stuffed animal. That substitution is better than your favorite ninja. The door slams shut to reveal Young-suk standing behind it. She screams at her auntie asking why she would do this, and she alerts her that there are several deaths in her future. Young-suk starts to laugh disturbingly before spraying a fire extinguisher. This allows her to get hold of the knife which she uses to kill her auntie. She then calls Seo-Yeon that she has sorted out the problem with her guardian. With her newfound freedom, she explores the town for a bit and buys some fast food and new clothes. Meanwhile, in the future, Sung-ho has brought some freshly picked strawberries for his neighbors and sits with them to eat. In the past, his younger self also brings some to the auntie. Young-suk answers the door and excitedly drags him inside to help her choose the best outfit. While she goes to change, he decides to store some of the strawberries in the fridge and is horrified to see human parts inside. Young-suk comes out to find that he knows her dark secret, which frustrates her. In the present, Seo-Yeon hears the phone ringing, so she goes up to answer. She hears Sung-ho begging for help before a crack can be heard, after which the place goes silent for a moment. Young-suk can be heard in the background complaining about getting her clothes dirty before the call ends. She goes back down to see that Sung-ho is gone and her parents have no recollection of him. The strawberries in the fridge has also disappeared, so she rushes to his farm to find it derelict. The young lady then makes her way to the police station to ask about his whereabouts. One of the officers informs her that he was murdered along with the auntie by Young-suk, as he shows her the case notes. This demon out here killing people left, right, and center. Things switch back to the past. The police come to investigate the farmer's disappearance. Young-suk's story doesn't add up when they question her, but they leave without incident. She quickly calls Seo-Yeon, who confronts her about the murders, but she tries to deny it till Seo-Yeon not very intelligently reads a newspaper article stating that she spends her life in prison for the murders. Young-suk wants Seo-Yeon to find out the evidence the police used to prosecute her and reminds her of how she saved her dad. She starts getting nasty when it seems like Seo-Yeon is reluctant to help. She insults her for being ungrateful. Meanwhile, at the police station, Young-suk's psychiatric report comes through, and she's diagnosed with both antisocial and borderline personality disorder. Seo-Yeon is now terrified, so she unplugs the phone. Young-suk keeps trying, but it doesn't go through. She gets a knock on the door, so she nervously checks, and to her luck, it is little Seo-Yeon and her father who have come back to find out where her auntie is. They were supposed to meet to finalize the deal. Young-suk lures them inside to wait for her auntie and bodies Seo-Yeon's dad in front of her. She blames the weeping kid for not picking up the phone. Simultaneously in the future, Seo-Yeon's dad decides to show her how to drive to cheer her up as they enter a tunnel. He starts to disappear before her eyes as she screams, while everything in the future has changed again. She wakes up carless in the tunnel and already knows what's happened, so she quickly rushes to the house, which is now abandoned. She picks up the phone where Young-suk alerts her that she did indeed kill her dad, and she has her younger self hostage. Seo-Yeon has 1 hour to find out how the arrest happened, or she'll kill her mum too. Seo-Yeon gets frustrated, so she uses her advantage of technology and being in the future to do some research. She finds out about a place that exploded, so she tells Young-suk to go to that location to find the evidence that was used to incriminate her in the hopes that Young-suk will die in the explosion. However, Young-suk survived and makes her way back to the house knowing full well that Seo-Yeon tried to body her, so she pours hot water mixed with herbs on little Seo-Yeon, which causes the older one to also feel it. As a result of the burn, she quickly rushes to the police station where she finds out and alerts Young-suk that it was the dagger that implicated her. It was found by a scrap collector who sent it to the police. She tracks down the guy and retrieves the dagger before burning the evidence. The details of her capture start to disappear from the police records as the future changes again. The house is back in use, but it is full of fridges. Seo-Yeon runs out as a lady makes a call warning someone that they might get killed. She decides to go back when she sees the police notebook update. Meanwhile, in the past, Seo-Yeon's mother goes to the police station to report her husband and daughter missing. She states that the house was their last known location. One of the officers that went there earlier decides to go with her to do a quick search where they find little Seo-Yeon's hair tie. They ask to use the phone, but Young-suk lies that it doesn't work, but the mother picks it up and confirms that it does. She makes a call, and it goes to Seo-Yeon in the future, who has managed to find the phone. As she warns her mother to get out of the house, Young-suk kills the police officer and requests for the phone. In the future, Seo-Yeon gets hit over the head by older Young-suk, and both mother and daughter fight for the phone in their respective timelines. They manage to lock themselves into a room where they call each other. Seo-Yeon instructs her mother to grab something to defend herself, but the cries of her little daughter's voice lures her out. Young-suk launches her attack on the mother. Future Seo-Yeon can only see the windows shatter and blood splatter as they fight inside the room. The mad girl emerges, and as she prepares to attack little Seo-Yeon, her mother comes out of nowhere and knocks her off to the ground floor along with herself. They lie there unconscious. Meanwhile, an older Young-suk breaks into the room on her side, and just as she's about to attack, she disappears. Older Seo-Yeon rushes to the hospital, but her mum is not there. She goes to the police station, but gets nothing either. The lady makes her way to the cemetery where she sees her dad's grave and starts crying. Her mum appears and starts complaining about her not picking up her cell phone. As she put a scarf on her daughter, Seo-Yeon notices the scars all over her mother's body from fending off Young-suk in the past. The two of them happily leave the cemetery when suddenly her mother disappears. Turns out that older Young-suk called her younger self to warn her that she might get killed due to the appearance of Seo-Yeon's mother and the cop at the house. With this information, Young-suk makes sure she doesn't die from the fall. This changes things to the final future where Seo-Yeon's mother is dead, while Seo-Yeon has been held captive by Young-suk indefinitely. Looks like her auntie was not the crazy one after all. That brings the movie to an end.